A massive international drug trafficking network operating across Canada and the United States has been dismantled, following a year-long joint investigation by the Canadian and American law enforcement agencies. In one of the largest drug seizures linked to a single investigation in Ontario, authorities confiscated nearly 1.7 tons of suspected illegal narcotics with an estimated street value of more than 139 million Canadian dollars, which is approximately rupee 1,160 crore. Well, the operation has led to charges against 21 individuals with 19 suspects arrested so far, while 2 remain absconding and are the subject of outstanding arrest warrants. Investigators have revealed that more than a dozen of those accused are of Indian origin, with at least 13 believed to be of Punjabi origin, making the case particularly significant for the South Asian community in Canada. The investigation, codenamed Project Bay, began in January 2025 when the Windsor Police Service launched an inquiry into the suspected cross-border drug trafficking. Initially, investigators were looking into what appeared to be isolated smuggling activities. However, as evidence started to emerge, authorities realized they were dealing with a highly organized criminal syndicate operating on both sides of the Canada and United States border. Recognizing the scale of the operation, the Canada Border Services Agency officially joined the investigation in February 2025, while the Ontario Provincial Police later took responsibility for coordinating the cross-border and interprovincial aspects of the probe. And as the investigation progressed, authorities uncovered an organized network that allegedly exploited the commercial trucking industry in order to move massive quantities of illegal drugs across the international borders. And according to the investigators, the gang had developed what they describe as a broker-style trafficking system within the transportation sector. Rather than relying on traditional smuggling methods, the organization allegedly recruited commercial truck drivers and used legitimate logistic companies and existing supply chains in order to transport narcotics hidden among regular cargo shipments. And this sophisticated method allowed the drug to blend in with ordinary commercial goods, making detection much more difficult during routine inspections at the border crossings. Investigators believe that the network was responsible for trafficking large quantities of suspected cocaine, methamphetamine and opium between Canada and the US. Officials say that the use of commercial transportation networks demonstrated a high level of planning and coordination, suggesting that the operation had been functioning for a considerable period before law enforcement agencies intervened. The investigation received extensive support from several major law enforcement agencies on both the sides of the border. Well, in the United States, Homeland Security investigation, that is HSI, and the Drug Enforcement Administration played a crucial role by sharing intelligence, monitoring suspected movements and coordinating enforcement efforts with the Canadian authorities. And within Canada, teams from the Toronto Police Service, Peel Regional Police, the Ontario Provincial Police, the Canada Border Services Agency and the Windsor Police Service worked together throughout the investigation, sharing information and carrying out coordinated enforcement operations. And after months of surveillance, intelligence gathering and evidence collection, investigators launched a series of coordinated raids across Ontario. Well, on June 25, authorities executed 18 search warrants at homes and businesses located in Windsor, Brampton and other areas, and the operation continued with additional raids in Markham and Kildon on July 14, followed by further searches at 2 locations in Brampton on July 20. And during all these operations, officers seized nearly 1.7 tons of suspected narcotics along with additional evidence believed to be connected to the trafficking network. Authorities believe that the seizure represents one of the most significant blows to organized drug trafficking in Ontario in the recent years. And in addition to the drugs, investigators also recovered financial records, electronic devices and other material that could help expose the wider criminal network. The Ontario Provincial Police Provincial Asset Forfeiture Unit has now initiated legal proceedings to identify, freeze and seize assets believed to have been acquired through the proceeds of drug trafficking. Investigators are examining financial transactions, bank accounts, properties and business links in order to determine that how the organization handled and laundered its profits. And among those charged are Gagandeep, Simranjeet Singh, Kavarpal, Jatinder Pal Singh, Jaswinder Sohi, Tejwinder Sandhu, Harjwinder Sandhu, Haninder Pal Grewal, Mehak Preet Singh, Karandeep Singh, Dharminder Singh, Gundeep, Avtar Sahota, Mohammed, Michael, Sean Bett, Zan, Willie and Steve. Authorities have withheld the identity of one additional accused due to legal restrictions, and several of the accused are residents of Brampton, while others are from Kitchener and other areas. Police said that the accused collectively face 102 criminal charges under Canada's Criminal Code and the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. 119 suspects are now in custody. Investigators confirmed that 2 accused remain at large and efforts are underway in order to locate and arrest them. Officials have not ruled out the possibility of additional arrest as the investigation into the matter continues. Law enforcement agencies say Project Bay has exposed the increasingly sophisticated methods being adopted by organized crime groups, particularly their ability to exploit legitimate commercial transportation systems and international supply chains for the criminal purposes. Officials believe dismantling this network has significantly disrupted the flow of illegal narcotics between Canada and the United States and prevented large quantities of drugs from reaching communities on both the sides of the border. Although the arrest marks a major milestone, authorities have made it clear that the investigation is far from over. Investigators are continuing to analyze communication records, financial transactions, digital evidence and international links in order to identify additional suspects, uncover possible associates and determine whether the organization had connections to other transnational criminal groups. Canadian and American agencies have reaffirmed their commitment to working together in order to combat organized crime and cross-border drug trafficking, warning that similar investigations will continue as criminal networks increasingly rely on sophisticated international operations in order to move illegal drugs across North America. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.